agency to audit spending, review plans and policies, conduct a domicile review, restrict executive team expenditures, and provide training. Staff report.
Good morning, Board of Directors. For the record, Caroline Lobdell, General Counsel, Chief Compliance for the District. I come before you today to introduce a resolution and order that proposes action items that this board can take to address travel and meal expenditures, provide accountability, and help restore the public's trust in clean water services. There are 14 specific action items in the resolution and order, but they can be generally categorized as a general overview of fiscal accountability, to address review and oversight of travel, to review and oversight of meal expenditures, and additional actions to restore the public trust. I can review each of these 14 items with you specifically, but the board is already familiar with these items and it is your independent resolution and order. But I do stand ready to serve as a resource on behalf of the staff if there are questions.
At this juncture, I'd like to turn it over to board to see if you have any questions to our.
Thank you, Chair Anton. When concerns about clean water services came to light, we've been on a fact-finding journey ever since, digging into the detail, asking tough questions, and working towards solutions that honor both innovation and accountability. This wasn't about blame, it's about being better stewards of public trust. Ratepayers deserve a system that's not just forward-thinking, but also financially sound and transparent. The people footing the bill should never be the last to know what's happening. That's the kind of leadership I believe in, not reactive, but responsive, not performative, but principled, and always working towards the common good. To the people that have reached out asking about leadership and oversight, I'll say this for the record and for posterity. I believe in addressing issues through thoughtful oversight and collaboration, ensuring that any leadership decisions are made in the best interest of the organization and its stakeholders. In regards to auditing clean water services, I'll also say this, and then I'll turn the mic to you, Chair Harrington. The county charter currently does not allow the county auditor to audit clean water services. But I look forward to exploring potential changes that could create more forward-thinking structure, similar to Washington counties, where an independently elected auditor holds the responsibility to audit the county. And if a feasibility analysis supports it, we can work toward implementing a stronger and more accountable framework. I look forward to this journey.
Who would like to go next?
I will go next.
Thank you, Director Treese.
Thank you, Director Harrington. Clean Water Services leadership and the board, it's obvious that we've lost public trust. It's incumbent upon us to rebuild this by adhering to the values of openness and transparency. Efficient and appropriate use of taxpayer dollars is absolutely critical, and we collectively, as a board, have not provided all of the necessary oversight. That is going to be changing. I support the process we are proposing here today. I believe that a deliberate process rather than immediate action is critical to both providing a high level of ongoing service for our residents and to the 450 hardworking employees that make this service possible. With my personal decades of experience at the executive level, I know that throwing the organization into further turmoil with rash decisions will not help our current problem. We need time to do a thorough investigation and audit, and during that time, we need to be able to maintain the high level of service that our customers have become accustomed to and that we hold ourselves to. I also encourage the agency to reduce any barriers that may be limiting the transparency and availability of information for the public, including access to public records. I personally feel confident that by taking these steps we have outlined, we're ensuring an increased level of oversight and transparency, and we can remedy this situation moving forward. We owe that to our ratepayers, we owe that to our leadership, and we owe it to our employees. Thank you.
Director Snyder?
Yeah, I started my term and therefore my role as a member of the board of directors a couple months ago. I do want to acknowledge from my previous experience that Clean Water Services is a world-class organization as far as delivering services for both sewer and stormwater. I think what's come to light and what was news to me as a new member of the board of directors is that there is definitely some opportunity to, I think, improve the financial practices and spending patterns in the organization. And I'm here to acknowledge that, and also in my new role as a member of the board of directors to help the organization move forward in a way that, again, reestablishes trust, provides more transparency, and is really the best financial stewards of the resources that our ratepayers provide. I'm supportive of what we're looking at today as an action item, and I anticipate there may be more in the future as we learn more. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Snyder. Director Willie, do you have anything you'd like to share?
I don't have much to add to that. I just want to, I think, communicate a message to the employees of Clean Water Services that we appreciate the hard work that you do every day and keeping the trains running on time during this hard time, and assure them that we are going to make every effort to ensure that there is this transparency that we are all asking for, but there's also efficiency and honesty in our operations. So thank you to the employees of Clean Water Services for going to work every day, getting the job done.
Thank you, colleagues. My commitment as a board member to our community serving on the Clean Water Services Board of Directors is to ensure that we are taking the right steps to restore the trust that we have lost in some of our community members as well as ratepayers and some of our local government partners and our shaken employees. As a board member, I commit and ask my colleagues to join me in proactively working with our Chief Executive Officer to, in fact, restore that trust and further our exemplary work in providing wastewater recovery and stormwater management, our track record for our community, but also for the Tualatin River watershed. Our community, our local government partners, our employees all deserve to know that the board of directors attends to the financials, that the board of directors attends to the large organizational management through our chief executive officer. They deserve to know what the Captive Insurance Corporation, QIC, is, its role. They also deserve to understand how the Clean Water Services rate paying works in order to ensure that we are doing our jobs well. As such, we have to improve trust. Trust with our community members, our ratepayers, also with our local government partners, our employees, and amongst ourselves. I know that we can do it, but it's going to involve more work. And I know we have been elected to do just that. With that, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of taking action on this matter, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, directors. Any opposed? The motion carries unanimously, 5-0. And with that, we will move forward together in service to our community. Next, we'll move on to our second public comment period for today's meeting. This is an opportunity for members of our community to come and engage or speak to the board of directors for up to 5 minutes an individual. Clerk Moss, do we have anyone who wishes to do so?
Yes, we do, Director Harrington. We have Deb Strack.
Hello, I'm Deb Sorotak.
Please just have a seat and the mic is on.
Okay. First of all, this isn't going to be fun. Our friends and neighbors are very upset with all of you, and we have been for several years. We suspected for quite a while that our out-of-line rates and rate hikes were bad stewardship of ratepayer fees and not legitimate operating costs. You said you care about the ratepayers. Well, where was that when the board made a decision about a captive insurance agency in Hawaii making these meetings that the board approved of who went, how much was spent? So it's not just restoring trust. There's a real credibility problem. It's really hard to believe your words when you adopted this new administrative policy that, if you read it closely, it doesn't provide any real oversight. And when one of the biggest ethics offenders shall have final authority for administering, interpreting, and applying the terms of this policy. This is an insult to the injury we've already suffered at your hands. The auditor is inside of your umbrella. An independent auditor has no connection to you. Please don't insult us with this new self-serving administrative policy if you hope to consider regaining the trust of your ratepayers. It's just a further embarrassment to CWS. I am happy to help and join in a positive way to draft a meaningful policy that the people could appreciate. Inclusions that our friends and neighbors, the elderly and those working, asked me to ask you to consider a time frame from when an appropriate Oregon venue changes for meetings are going to be implemented. You don't need to waste more ratepayer money studying this. Having it in Hawaii is wrong, plain and simple. They asked me to have you prepare a code of ethics with ramifications for those who do not abide by it. They asked that you have an intention to and a time frame to reimburse ratepayers a well-deserved and substantial rebate for rates that CWS misused. They asked me to say they believe Ms. Taniguchi-Dennis and Ms. Lobdell should be fired and the board replaced. Just saying. You are not the people we ratepayers want in decision-making positions and oversight positions with our money. Do you realize that we have a flat rate payment that's high, a requirement whether we flush the toilet once or turn on a tap in 2 months? Several of our neighbors can barely afford to pay their CWS bill, which is why I'm here. We've been talking about this for years, and we live in a more affluent part of the district. We have a neighbor putting her water bill on a visa because she can't afford to pay it all at once. It's so disheartening to see our neighbors and friends struggle to pay their CWS bill and learn that we're at the mercy of a board, a lawyer, and leadership who are so out of touch with us that
One of the concerns that I raised last fall was that Clean Water Services does not offer any type of financial relief to its low-income residents after many, many inquiries. I recall attending one of these BCC meetings last November, and I attended one of the CWS meetings in October and kind of brought this up and was quickly educated that, look, someone else from Clean Water Services has reached out to you, and basically, can we move on? We're also not adequately notified of rate increases from CWS with public meetings to discuss, nor are we given the ability to address our concerns with the leadership staff at CWS, as we were with Tualatin Valley Water last October with the CEO, CFO, et cetera, who hosted their own rate increase meetings with the public, which I valued highly. As the governing board of CWS, I would like also for this committee to maybe open a dialogue with Clean Water Services and escalate the process of encouraging them to implement a low-income financial assistance program. I echo what Deb just said. I've had to put my water bill and CWS bill on a credit card. It's out of control. I'm one person. You know, I work from home. I use very little water, flush the toilet, very little. But the bills are out of control after 22 years. And I'm one of those people that has my bill from 22 years ago. And it's tripled compared to like PGE and Northwest Natural. So I just would hope that you guys kind of look at this again after I kind of got nowhere last year with bringing this to the forefront. So I'm kind of happy that this has been brought up for 2025 and potentially to look at and see what's kind of going on. So I heed my time and thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other member online? We'll give you one last call to use the raise hand function, provide comments to Clean Water Service Board directors. Not seeing any additional hands. Director Harrington.
Thank you, Clerk Moss. With that, do we have any board announcements for today's Clean Water Services Board of Directors meeting? Nope. Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn today's meeting.
So move.
Second. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, please vote by raising your hand or saying aye. Thank you, directors. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously 4-0. Clerk Moss, just as well as legal counsel, are we able to move back into our work session now, or have we noticed that time certain? I don't have that agenda in front of me.
I don't believe it's a time certain, so you should be able to move in.
Okay, so we'll reconvene in in the work session